change is the defining force of our era. But what happens when the pace of technological change outstrips our ability to adapt as human beings?
That's such a crucial question, especially when we look at how differently change happens across cultures and societies.
Let me share something fascinating. In some villages across South Asia and Africa, daily life remained virtually unchanged for centuries. The same farming methods, same structures, same rhythms passed down through generations. But now, we can barely keep our phones for 2 years before they're obsolete.
That rapid pace of technological change really highlights something deeper about our society, doesn't it? We're so focused on external progress, but what about internal growth?
Exactly right. And that brings me to this remarkable historical account I recently came across about transformation and authentic change. It's about a young apprentice who sparked a revolution in thinking, not through technology, but through unwavering conviction.
Hmm, Tell me more about how one person managed to create such impact.
Well, picture this. There's a kingdom where power is maintained through illusion and control. The court magician is aging and needs an apprentice to maintain the status quo. They choose this young boy, seemingly perfect for the role.
I see. I've got a feeling it's going to get interesting.
Here's where it gets interesting. So, on his daily walks to study with the magician, he encounters an elderly teacher who introduces him to revolutionary ideas about truth, justice, and standing up for the oppressed. The boy finds himself caught between two worlds, one of manipulation and control, another of belief in Allah.
That must have created quite the internal conflict for someone so young.
It absolutely did. And it came to a head when he faced this dramatic moment, a dangerous beast blocking a public road. Instead of using the magician's tricks, he decided to test which path was true through sincere prayer to Allah. And remarkably, the beast was defeated.
You know what strikes me about this story? It's how often real change comes from unexpected places, not from those in power, but from individuals willing to question the status quo.
That's precisely it. And what happened next really drives this home. So, word spread quickly about the incident, and soon the boy was brought before the king. But instead of claiming magical powers or seeking favor, he attributed everything to Allah.
Let me guess. The authorities didn't take kindly to that kind of thinking.
Not at all. The king saw it as a direct threat to his authority and tried everything to silence him, throwing him off a mountain, attempting to drown him at sea. But here's the incredible part. The boy's unwavering commitment to truth not only helped him survive, but his example eventually transformed the entire kingdom's beliefs.
That's such a powerful metaphor for how change really happens in society, not through force or technology, but through authentic conviction.
And it's particularly relevant to our modern context. Think about how we often feel powerless against massive systems and institutions. But real change frequently starts with individuals willing to stand up for what they believe in, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient.
That reminds me of some recent examples, like whistleblowers in tech companies or environmental activists standing up to powerful corporations.
Exactly. And here's another fascinating parallel. In the story, the king tried to maintain control through illusion and spectacle. Today, we might see similar dynamics playing out through social media algorithms and attention engineering.
Well, that's a thought provoking connection. How do you see that manifesting in our current reality?
Just look at how social media platforms are designed to keep us engaged through constant novelty and artificial urgency. We're all caught in this cycle of endless updates and notifications, much like the kingdom's subjects were kept distracted by the magician's illusions.
So, what's the modern equivalent of choosing authentic truth over illusion?
I think it starts with conscious choices about how we engage with technology to show obedience to Allah by helping society. Are we using these tools to create meaningful change and connection, or are we just passive consumers of endless content? The young boy in our story had to make a clear choice between two paths. We face similar choices every day.
That's such an interesting way to frame our relationship with technology and change.
And here's another crucial aspect. The story shows how real change often requires personal sacrifice. The boy faced serious consequences for standing up for what he believed in. Today, we might not face such dramatic threats, but standing up for truth still often comes with social or professional costs.
You know, that makes me think about how we measure progress in our society. Are we focusing too much on technological advancement at the expense of moral and spiritual growth?
That's a crucial question. Look at how we celebrate each new iPhone release or social media platform. But how much attention do we pay to developing wisdom, compassion, or ethical leadership? The story suggests that true progress isn't just about external change, it's about internal transformation, knowing your position in the sight of Allah.
So, how do we bridge that gap between technological progress and meaningful human development?
I think it starts with recognizing that technology should serve human values, not the other way around. Allah in the Quran reminds us that the forces of nature are for our own benefit. The young boy in our story used his position and knowledge not for personal gain or power, but to serve a higher purpose, which was for people to realize that only Allah is worthy of being worshipped and to be able to see past the king's manipulation. We need to approach our technological capabilities with the same mindset.
That's quite a challenge in today's profit-driven tech landscape.
It is, but that's exactly why these stories remain so relevant. They remind us that the most powerful changes often start with individual choices and ripple outward. Every person who chooses truth over convenience, authentic connection over shallow engagement, creates a small shift in the larger system.
Well, that certainly puts our current technological revolution in a different perspective.
And here's something else to consider. In the story, the boy's example inspired others to question their assumptions and make different choices. Today, we each have unprecedented reach through digital platforms. The question is, what kind of example are we setting? What kind of change are we inspiring?
That's a powerful way to think about our individual responsibility in the digital age.
Looking ahead, I think we're at a crucial juncture. The pace of technological change isn't going to slow down, but we can choose how we engage with it. Will we let ourselves be swept along by every new trend and update, or will we maintain our focus on what truly matters, recognizing Allah in our lives, authentic human connection, and meaningful progress?
Those are exactly the kind of questions we need to be asking ourselves.
And perhaps that's the most important lesson from our story. Real change isn't about having the most advanced tools or the most powerful position. It's about having the courage to stand up for what's right, even when it's difficult. In our hyper-connected world, that kind of authentic leadership is more important than ever.
That's such a fitting way to wrap up this discussion, reminding us that while technology changes rapidly, human values and courage remain constant forces for positive change.
Thanks for exploring these ideas with me today. Until next time, everyone.